And we're on.
Good morning.
Nope, it's noon.
No, it's not here. It's
No.
morning here.
Oh, okay. Good morning. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
We're back
Okay.
and we're reading 166, lesson 166. Will you be reading, sis?
I'll try.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah,
Okay.
awesome.
I am entrusted with the gifts of God.
Mm.
A big deal, I think. Hmm.
Interesting
All
that word entrusted,
entrusted.
because that means that the mythical me can't be any part of that. Like, we don't originate anything in ourselves. We're entrusted. God extends and entrusts his gifts to us to express. Yeah. I'm not an original. I don't originate. I'm not a cause. I extend.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, we extend. And before we even go into this,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the gifts that we must receive them first, have them first before we extend them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Um, so those gifts, one quality of those gifts is they're not for personal gain.
No.
No. So these gifts are shared.
And there's something else that God is not. God is wisdom. And to the extent that we would claim God's gifts for a personal use is directly related to the inability to receive them.
Oh, that's a biggie. So
If I'm a
if I
spiritual
call
medium,
myself a spiritual healer,
yeah, yeah,
uh-oh, okay, yep, been down that road
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
before, yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
So
Thank
when
you.
we're going to be using anything for the sonship, for the one, right? It's like even a human father who sees the son who's acting responsibly and doing well and makes good choices, and then he gives him more responsibility, he gives him more access to the family car, increases his allowance, right? It's the same thing. We show ourselves worthy in our desire for only God, and to use what we would receive from God to bless the sonship, which is God's will. If we try to use his gifts in opposite to glorify the ego, well, that vein of gifting is going to be shut off promptly, because it can't be done. God can't be pulled into separation. God's gifts can't be used for the separation. Okay, that was a lot on
Thank
just
you.
the title.
Yeah, that's a lot in a title. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder how the rest of the lesson's
I
going
don't
to
know.
go. Oh, here we go. Thank you. All things are given you. Oh, that's a big statement. Here we go. All things are given you. God's trust in you is limitless. He knows his son. He gives without exception, holding nothing back that can contribute to your happiness. Yes, happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, unless your will is one with his gifts are not received.
There you go.
I just want to stop there. Unless your will is one with his gifts are not received. Okay, so here's a changeless fact. That changeless fact is that our will is one with his will. All right, it
Interesting.
is.
Yes.
Okay, but it's our awareness of that. If we're not aware of that, if we believe we're still the false ego, mythical me, the body self, then of course we're not going to be aware of his gifts, right?
That's right. It's like Yes, it's coming into alignment with God and remembering. You move off of it and you forget, you don't know what you have, but you come back into alignment with God, the present now moment, and the memory with Christ's vision is restored to you that, oh, I am the kingdom of heaven. Everything is included in what I am. I am one with the Father, right?
Yeah.
So that's willing with God, that the truth be true.
Yeah. So if I'm experiencing my day or evening without that presence that we were talking about in the lesson previous,
yes,
then I'm going to be operating from the opposite to this, the gifts of God, knowing this, and I'm going to be operating from a space of deprivation, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's no gray area.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep reading. But what would you think there is another will than his? What would make you think there is another will than his? There's the gap, right? The gap
I'll
diagram.
show you. I have another will. And here's my proof.
Yeah. Okay, so this brings something in to awareness at this point, is that if I do believe I'm separate, if I do believe that I have an individual will, a personal will, with my own private agendas, apart from my brothers and sisters and God, then, and everyone else also believes that, we're going to have mighty conflicts, aren't we? Right? With each other.
Yeah, privatized minds.
Privatized minds, right? But when I come in to my vertical center and I am aware that I am one will with God, I receive his gifts. I cannot be in conflict with anyone else.
Right. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Paragraph 2. Here is the paradox that underlies the making of the world. This world is not the will of God, and so it is not real. Yet those who think it real must still believe there is another will, and one that leads to opposite effects from those he wills, God wills. Impossible indeed, but every mind that looks upon the world and judges it as certain, solid, trustworthy, and true believes in two creators, or in one, himself alone. But
We're not
never.
alone, sis.
What's that?
We're not alone.
We're not?
No. Hi there. Yes.
Surprise.
Look at this. You know what? Oh, thank you, Zach. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
How was this?
I am honored to be with you two ladies. I am so blown away by what you all are creating together.
Oh, well, this is the first time I've ever been able to meet you, so to speak, through Zoom and speak to you personally. But it's the pleasure is all ours. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure, Coreen. So good to. I've heard so many things about you, and I've gotten a big download on the big YouTube project going on to bring this to the world and everything else. So I'm just thrilled to be witness to this next chapter for the Course in Miracles.
Oh,
Great.
thank you, Zach.
Yes,
Thank
Sis,
you, thank you, thank you.
we were just talking about something that's unique about you that we both could appreciate right away. And what I found was that you naturally embody and express this selflessness, like this transcendence of selfish interest, where the whole world is trying to accumulate and think about the betterment of the self. Your mindset is so far beyond, and the healing of the one, and for everybody without exclusion. And I think that's when I first heard you, and Daniel mentioned I think I'd seen a video of yours before, and I said, "You work with Zach Bush? Wow!" But just hearing your message, it's like you've got it, and it's so beautiful. And I think that's the answer to everything that's going on in the world today, the chaos on every level. But that healing mindset of there's a better way, and it's one that leaves nobody out. And so I am so moved by you and everything that you're doing. And I'm not here to just fluff up the skirt. Like, wow, thank you.
Thank you. That's very kind. All of that. I believe that what you're recognizing there, at least, is that, what we've discovered through our science laboratories and through my journey as a physician, being at the bedside of so many patients that are in that transition point of realizing the frailty of the body and the ethereal quality to what we perceive as the physical nature. And that's, I think, how I reached this place that I'm currently in. And I hardly believe it to be a landing point. I think it's another step on the journey for myself and those around me. But we're starting to really just embrace this excitement of the system is so much more living. The life power within our fabric is so much more abundant than we could possibly imagine. And I believe that's what you guys are really teaching through the Course of Miracles, is that switch to an abundance mentality and this co-creative capacity within each of us to participate in the miraculous is really no different than what the bacteria and fungi do in soil systems every day. And so it's exciting to me that once we start to embrace this, there's nothing to be learned. It's already known. And so we see the joy of the community only through community. And in our isolation, we increase our chaos or entropy. And that's and then another inherent rule of physics is the second law of thermodynamics, is any system left in isolation increases its entropy. And so that's the exciting thing that we have here as community, as we can reduce entropy. The word is syntropy at that point. So we can create syntropy, which is a reduction of chaos, by seeing each other, seeing ourselves in one of each other. And that journey becomes very rich when we're at crisis. When we're in crisis, we tend to be willing to transform. And so this pandemic is the perfect soil for what you guys are doing in the Course of Miracles. So I lift you both up in gratitude for what you're doing there, because you're in fertile soil.
You use a lot of words that I'm not familiar with, but I'm following what you're saying, I think, and the guts of it, if I could maybe translate something that I just saw for those who are already, that will be watching the recordings, our family here. But it feels like even scientifically that we're looking through the laboratory lens, and we're finding that within the imprint, like the seed within itself, that all the intelligence and the power of life is there within itself. It's really pushing the boundary and knowing that there's so much more going on beyond what physical sense is saying, and that the world's laws say that represent limitation. So you're just really seeing the whole picture beyond, and I just get so excited when I can feel into what you're doing in this whole other area. So hugging you and thanking you, and it's so cool that I get to say this to you. Thank you.
That's wonderful, Coreen.
And you know what? I love the way spirit works, all right? Because the lesson that you've gate crashed.
Photobombed.
Okay, out of 365 lessons, Zach, you've come in at lesson 166. And this is the lesson: I am entrusted with the gifts of God. All right. This is what we're joining on. We're joining on this.
That's the message of that exuberant, abundance, that we are imbued with the gifts of God and this abundance within us. Oh, that's amazing. And I love the 6-6 combination there. That 6 is, in the numerology world, I am very nascent, but my understanding is it's the number of creation. And so it's cool to imagine that the number of creation that you ended up on 166 here is really, like you said, perfect divine timing for a message of the biodiversity soil systems to gut systems to, social community. The biodiversity is so much the gift. And I was speaking with Daniel this morning, and he reminded me of Christ's message through the Course of Miracles, that each of us are imbued with our own unique gifts and attributes that we then bring forth that are representations of Christ. And so that Christ, aspect of us is exemplified, and the fruit of it is our unique gifts and talents. And it's only in the diversity of talent that we get a unified community or a functional community. And if we don't have diversity of talent, we fail as a system. And so I love that we subspecialize in our God-given, skill sets to create really resilient systems of community and innovation.
And I want to say, I have a wave of emotion coming over me right now, but I've long been triggered in the dream about the treatment of animals and the stockyard animals, and there's obviously the need for food, and then we watch at how we treat animals and the quality of life that we extend. And I teach that it's all illusion, and I know that, but while I'm here walking around as Coreen, I want to thank you for the stewardship, just the healing of the planet, like the answering of the call, because there's so many of us that sit at home and go, this is awful, but what can I do? I'm out here doing what I'm doing, but I can't help those cows that I see by that look so sad, and there's nothing that I can do, but you picked up the torch, and thank you for just being such an instrumental driving force for that. So many people are so appreciative of that. Yeah, stewardship. Thank you.
That was a kind statement there. I appreciate that, Coreen.
This is it. This is the light that's coming in now. This is the love of God. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is it. Thank you.
Thank
blessings
you.
on you. I'm sure I've taken more time than needed on your important call here, but blessings on the two of you. Blessings on everybody in the community that listens to this content. May the miracles plant seeds in your heart. May those bear great fruit for humanity. May it reduce the suffering on the planet in our current programming, and may it release us from the master set, master control, to become co-creators in this universe with a God that loves us intensely, and with a host of angels and saints that are among us and in careful observation and stewardship of us in ways we don't understand. Thank you for being a piece of the human puzzle as we hit 7.8 billion souls now concentrated on this planet. You showed up right now. And so each of you have shown up to be part of that magic, part of that miracle, a great expression of humanity that could really transform the way that the planet ultimately operates. So thank you for showing up now.
Thank you.
We love you, Zach. Thank you. Thank you.
So much love.
Wow. You never know what Holy Spirit will bring. Don't you just love him?
Oh, I do.
What he's doing for all of us.
Yeah.
Such a treasure.
He's here, in the world bettering this, and we're doing what we're doing, and it's just like it's the bridge.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Zach Bush. Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's Dr. Zach Bush. And for those of you who don't or haven't yet heard of him, I don't know if there's anybody on the planet who hasn't, but Dr. Zach Bush is an internationally renowned or recognized educator and thought leader on microbiome and health, human health. So he's like a supreme, I'm naughty, but I'm going to just say it in my language. I believe he's a physician wizard. Okay? Like in the world, in the dream, he really is. And the big thing, and he's a huge rising star in the world today. And the big thing with Zach is that he passionately transcends self-interest. That's what he's living for us.
For the world.
Yeah, for the world. Yeah. And this morning, I heard that he signed up for not signed up. What's the word for it? Subscribed. I should know that. Zach subscribed to our YouTube channel, sis. Course in Miracles Daily Lessons.
That's exciting. Yeah. Right. Oh my gosh. I can see the divine hand in all things, and it's perfect. It's always perfect. Yeah. So let's keep reading.
Yeah. This lesson. We got a gift. We just the lesson. I'm entrusted with the gifts of God, and we had Zach.
Yes, we did.
Right. He's a gift from God.
He really is.
Okay. I think I'm up to paragraph 3. Yeah.
Oh.
But no, I'm not sure. Actually, I have to say something. In the description box below on this lesson 166, we're going to give you a link to Zach's website. Yeah, for those of you who'd like to know more about what he's doing.
Oh,
would like to support him. Yeah?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Is it paragraph 3? Yes. Okay. Or
I was on 4, but go ahead. Let's just do 3 and move forward from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Paragraph 3. The gifts of God are not acceptable to anyone who holds such strange beliefs. Yeah. He must believe that to accept God's gifts, however evident they may become, however urgently he may be called to claim them as his own, is to be pressed to treachery against himself. Well, there's mythical me, right? Yeah. Yes. He must deny their presence, contradict the truth, and suffer to preserve the world he made. Are we still here?
Yes.
Good. Paragraph 4. Here is the only home he thinks he knows. Here is the only safety he believes that he can find. Without the world he made, the illusion, is he an outcast, homeless and afraid. He does not realize that it is here he is afraid indeed, and homeless too, an outcast wandering so far from home, so long away, he does not realize he has forgotten where he came from, where he goes, and even who he really is. Yet in his lonely, senseless wanderings, God's gifts go with him, all unknown to him. He cannot lose them, but he will not look at what is given him. He wanders on, aware of the futility he sees about him everywhere, perceiving how his little lot but dwindles as he goes ahead to nowhere. Still, he wanders on in misery and poverty, alone, though God is with him, and a treasure his so great that everything the world contains is valueless before its magnitude. He seems a sorry figure, the mythical me, weary, worn, in threadbare clothing. God, I remember being just like that.
Yes. And
with feet that bleed, yes, a little from the rocky road he walks. No one but has identified with him. For everyone who comes here has pursued the path he follows and has felt defeat and hopelessness as he is feeling them. Yet is he really tragic when you see that he is following the way he chose and need but realize who with a capital W, walks with him, the Christ, and opens up his treasures to be free. That's the Holy Spirit in the Christ, right? This is your chosen self, the one you made as a replacement for reality. Now he's talking about mythical me, yeah, again. This is the self you savagely defend against all reason, every evidence, and all the witnesses, with proof to show this is not you. You heed them not. You go on your appointed way with eyes cast down, lest you might catch a glimpse of truth and be released from self-deception and set free. So this is the terror, the ego's terror of healing.
Yes.
Yeah? The fear of love, the fear of God. Paragraph 8.
This is the prodigal son that every one of us is. Everybody knows our story, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You cower fearlessly, lest you should feel Christ's touch upon your shoulder and perceive his gentle hand directing you to look upon your gifts. How could you then proclaim your poverty in exile? He would make you laugh at this perception of yourself.
That's it.
Where is your self-pity then?
Dang it.
Right. And what becomes of all the tragedy you sought to make for him, whom God intended only joy?
That's right. There goes our story. Where's your story go when the Christ touches you and you recognize it for, the nothingness that it is? True perception destroys the story of Mythical Me.
Wow. Yeah. Your ancient fear has come upon you now, and justice has caught up with you at last. Christ's hand has touched your shoulder, and you feel that you are not alone. You even think the miserable self you thought was you may not be your identity. Perhaps God's word is truer than your own. Perhaps his gifts to you are real. Perhaps he has not wholly been outwitted by your plan to keep his son in deep oblivion and go the way you chose without yourself, your holy self. God's will does not oppose. It merely is. It is not God you have imprisoned in your plan to lose yourself. He does not know about a plan so alien to his will. There was a need he did not understand, to which he gave an answer. That is all. And you who have this answer given you have need no more of anything but this.
So just a second. So in response to this is home, this is natural, normal, right? At home in God.
Yeah.
And that this is God's will. So he does not know about a plan so alien to his will, right? The request for separation he did not understand, to which he gave an answer, which was inconceivable. That is all. So for one split second, that was a thought in the mind, and his answer was inconceivable. So it did not occur. So which is why this idea of mythical me that we dream about is the only way we try to prolong this idea of separation, and it has never occurred.
Yep.
Yeah. And we all have this answer. We all know that his answer was a no, unequivocally, impossible. We have that answer in our mind. So we know that what we're trying to pull off could not, in fact, happen. So while we fuel the gap, even in the dream, the product is guilt. We know that we're trying to defy the Father. We are trying to impose a will apart or in addition to God's will. As we move as mythical me, that engenders the guilt because we know God's answer was inconceivable. So we're working against the Father's will, and that always produces guilt, which always concludes in death of the body. Let's not, hide anything. It's the choice. Yeah, that's the recycle program.
Well, you can't unsee it now. We've gone too far.
No.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which paragraph am I on? This is a long lesson.
I told you.
Didn't believe you. Sorry, sis.
No, it's all good. How about paragraph 11? Here we go.
No. I've got paragraph 13. Oh, Oh, you're right. Paragraph 11. Okay, here we go. Now do we live, for now we cannot die. The wish for death is answered, and the sight that looked upon it now has been replaced by vision, which perceives that you are not what you pretend to be. One walks with you who gently answers all your fears with this one merciful reply: it is not so. He points to all the gifts you have each time the thought of poverty oppresses you, and speaks of his companionship when you perceive yourself as lonely and afraid. Yet he reminds you still of one thing more you had forgotten, for his touch on you has made you like himself. The gifts you have, the gifts you have are not for you alone. What he has come to offer you, you now must learn to give. This is the lesson that his giving holds, for he has saved you from the solitude you sought to make in which to hide from God. Isn't that beautifully said?
Yes.
Right? He has reminded you of all the gifts that God has given you. He speaks as well of what becomes your will when you accept these gifts and recognize they are your own. The gifts are yours, entrusted to your care, to give to all who choose the lonely road you have escaped. They do not understand, they but pursue their wishes. It is you who teach them now. For you have learned of Christ, there is another way for them to walk. Teach them by showing them the happiness that comes to those who feel the touch of Christ and recognize God's gifts. Let sorrow not tempt you to be unfaithful to your trust. Your sighs will now betray the hopes of those who look to you for their release. Your tears are theirs. If you are sick or in pain, you but withhold their healing. What you fear but teaches them their fears are justified. Your hand becomes the giver of Christ's touch. Your change of mind becomes the proof that who accepts God's gifts can never suffer anything. You are entrusted with the world's release from pain. Wow.
Gosh.
Wow. Can you feel it?
Such a massive paragraph. Not a burden, but the responsibility of those who know the way, and not to get pulled off of it, because there are so many behind that are sleeping, that want the light but don't know where to find it. And then all of a sudden they see the light in you. And then, when those who have the light falter, or are pulled into uncertainty or doubt, then what hope does the one that was looking to you have? There's just this quickening that to not veer, to be unequivocal because of love. Because there's somebody in the world that's looking at you right now, watching what you're doing and the path that you're on, and are wondering, does it work? Because I'm so tired of looking everywhere else. I'm watching you.
I feel it very strongly. Whew.
It's the same stewardship. It's not to be taken lightly. It's a gift from God. Lord, let me not fail. Let me not betray myself and fail. And I cannot, because I'm joined with you
Yeah. Our beautiful family's right here with us. Thank you. This is your stewardship, our stewardship together. We cannot fail. Boy, that's true compassion that Yogananda shared with me.
Yeah.
Sorry, I won't go into that now, but that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the light of the world.
Thank you all for being here. God.
We really are walking each other home.
Ugh.
Well, we're actually lighting the way as we walk each other home.
Yeah, but it's really our love for each other that makes us be unequivocal. There's too many damn temptations. There are too many stories, too many things that pull on emotions. But when you go, God, I love my brothers so much, and this is the way. And he keeps saying, if not you, then who? And it's not Coreen. This is not a personal thing at all. He just says, to those who have the light, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? I keep hearing that. It's like, just plant your staff, and this is what I stand for, and I shall not be moved. For love's sake. I don't know. I just feel really out of it right now, but thank you. I'm not even done. This is the gift that keeps on giving that won't end.
That's it. That's it. So are you going to be able to survive one more paragraph?
Yes.
I'm asking you, sis, and our beautiful family here. You're going, when is this lesson going to end? Oh, God.
I'm hungry. Oh, Lord.
Oh, wow.
You're the best family.
Okay. Let's read the last.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. Look what he's saying.
Oh, wait. Don't ruin it. Okay. Last paragraph.
Yes.
Before the last paragraph, I'm going to read the last sentence again in paragraph 14. You are entrusted with the world's release from pain. Oh. Betray it not. Become the living proof of what Christ's touch can offer everyone. God has entrusted all his gifts to you. Be witness in your happiness to how transformed the mind becomes, which chooses to accept his gifts and feel the touch of Christ. Such is your mission now. For God entrusts the giving of his gifts to all who have received them. He has shared his joy with you, and now you go to share it with the world. Thank you, beautiful family. Thank you, beautiful sis.
I love you. Thank you. Now go be the light of the world. See you next time.